Good morning, second grade. Miss Fogelman here for your writing lesson. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All righty. So we have been working on poetry this week. And today I want to teach you that poetry can have alliterations. We have learned that poems have characteristics that make them a little bit different than narrative writing. Yesterday, if you remember, we read the narrative writing and the poem, and we compared and contrasted the two. One characteristic we are going to study is alliteration. Let's watch our video on alliteration.
Alliteration. At Grammar Songs by Melissa. What is alliteration? More importantly, how can using alliteration make me a better writer? Let's get started. Alliteration is the use of repetitive letter sounds to create a poetic element when writing. The word alliteration begins with the Latin prefix al, which means to or toward. The Latin root littera means letter or script. So when using alliteration, an author is placing emphasis toward the letters being used. But why would anyone want to do that? There are different reasons, so let me explain. Tongue twisters are among the most enjoyable uses of alliteration, and one of the easiest ways to practice and understand what alliteration is. Most people have heard famous tongue twisters such as Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, She sells seashells by the seashore, and how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? The use of repeated consonants and digraphs add strong rhythm to these tongue twisters, making them amusing and memorable. That's fun! Yes, alliteration can be fun. Famous children's author Theodore Geisel, better known as Dr. Seuss, used alliteration among other techniques to help young children learn to read. He wrote over 60 books in his lifetime, and his work is still popular among children today. But there are other reasons to use alliteration than fun. Many famous poets like Edgar Allan Poe, John Milton, Emily Dickinson, Robert Frost, and Maya Angelou used alliteration regularly as a tool to enhance the beauty of their writing and to emphasize particular phrases or feelings. Maya Angelou used alliteration in her famous poem The Caged Bird to create imagery, a visual picture for her readers. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees. Her repetition of consonant sounds is used to emphasize phrasing within her poem. Alliteration is also used as a marketing tool because the repetition of sound can make products and businesses so memorable. You have probably heard of stores like Best Buy and Rack Room Shoes, hotels like the Red Roof Inn, and restaurants like Chuck E. Cheese and Dunkin' Donuts. The alliteration or repetition of initial sounds is apparent. There are examples of alliteration every day in products we see, like Captain Crunch, Krispy Kreme, Kit Kat, Coca-Cola, and Minute Maid, just to name a few. So we use alliteration every day. We do. And it's important to note that alliteration is the use of repetitive letter sounds when writing. Sounds is the key word here. That's why famous characters like Clark Kent and Lois Lane are both examples of alliteration. Since the hard C makes the same sound as the K, the spelling doesn't matter. So how can we use alliteration when we write? Great question. Let me show you. Alliteration can have a different impact on the text or a different experience for the reader depending on how it is used. As in a tongue twister, alliteration can generate rhythm. Mary made magnificent muffins on Monday. Although this original sentence won't win a Pulitzer Prize, the alliteration generates a catchy rhythm that stands out, making it memorable. Alliteration can be used to highlight certain words. Sally sourly sat sulking as she played with the peas on her plate. Sourly sat sulking and played peas and plate. Let the reader know that Sally doesn't like peas without really saying so, simply by emphasizing certain words using alliteration. Alliteration can also be used to help create a mood or tone. Slimy snakes slither silently. Whether you're a snake lover or not, you have to admit that the repeated S creates a creepy, dismal type feeling. The repeated SL blend, along with the L and silently, creates imagery and a sense of movement within the writing. And finally, alliteration can be used to simply make writing funny. Stinky Stanley stunk since he sat upon a skunk. The ST blend and adjoining S's along with the rhyming create a bouncy fun effect. Poor Stanley. Alliteration stinks! Hee hee hee. That was silly! Alliteration is fun. I'm glad you think so. I can't wait to read your writing. Thank you for joining me at Grammar Songs by Melissa. Enjoy other related videos at grammarsongs.com.
Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an understanding of where we can use alliteration in our own writing.
Alliteration.
Oop, we don't want to watch it again. All right. Now, let's go over our anchor chart on alliteration. Alliteration is using the same letter or sound at the beginning of words in a phrase, like Amy ate awesome apples. Marvelous Mike makes magical music, or Patty Pig picked pizza. And these are ways to make the reading more fun or to allow a type of mood to occur in your writing. Can you find the alliteration in this poem? So let me grab my pen. All right, tigers. Tim, the terrifying tiger, tiptoes through tangled trees. All right, so we have Tim, the terrifying tiger, tiptoes through tangled trees. His twitching tail thumping his terrible teeth, terrifying turtles who tumble away. All right, so you'll notice that I did not underline the TH in either of these because they do not make the same sound. They make the th sound, whereas Tim, terrifying, tiger, tiptoes, they all make the t sound. So the alliteration in this poem is throughout the entire poem with the t sound. Oops, let me get my mouse back. There we go. Can you find the alliteration in this poem? All right. The man on my corner pulls petals from rosebuds, preparing them perfectly out on the street. He sells them from buckets. My eyes are enchanted. Pink puddles of petals float over his feet. So this one does not have it as many times as the last poem, but it is there. The man on my corner pulls petals from rosebuds, preparing them perfectly out on the street. He sells them from buckets. My eyes are enchanted. Pink puddles of petals float over his feet. Okay, and I know the pink puddles of petals float over his feet gives me a very calming feeling, kind of like a rainy day. All right, on Seesaw, you are going to read a poem called Clever Kid. You will be looking for the alliteration in the poem. So make sure you are circling the places where you see alliteration in the poem. All right, that is all for today. Have a good day.